Hey, my fellow P.I.M.O, JWs, ex-JWs, and JWs, because I know you're watching. This is Mackie, P.I.M.O, JW Jones, and I wanted to tune in on the part 2 of Saturday morning, and the symposium is Successful Fighters for the Faith, those being raised by single parents, and it's around the 17-minute mark on the part 2. So I just want you to just listen to what he's saying about kids without fathers in their lives and their perception of it. Now, before I go on, the sound of it being that my voice is altered in 100% of my videos, his voice is going to be altered as well. So, just letting you know that. So he's gonna sound a little chipmunky, but that's how it's gonna be. So let's go.
At Psalm 68, verse 5, Jehovah is called a father of the fatherless. Are you a fatherless child?
Nope.
Or do you have a fatherless child or
Nope.
fatherless children in your congregation? You may be wondering, what do we mean by fatherless child? Well, in the context of our discussion, we're talking about young people who have only one believing parent.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear, pretty much, because they're pretty much saying that if your father is not a Jehovah's Witness, that means you are a fatherless child. How fucking stupid does that sound? Like, I refuse. Like, I can't. I cannot with them. I cannot, Mr. Seth Hyatt, or whatever your name is.
One parent in the truth. Now that allows for a spectrum of possibilities. It could be a single parent family. It could be a religiously divided family, and especially.
Just because you're religiously divided does not mean that you are living in a single parent household. Like, what are they? This separatism is crazy. They tell you they don't separate families, but children are watching this and they're like, oh, so because my mother isn't in the truth, or because my father's not in the truth, that means he's not really my father. That means I'm an orphan. That means I'm a fatherless child. I wish I would have thought that. I never thought that way growing up. My mother was baptized. My father was not. But I never felt like a fatherless child just because he didn't accept the Jehovah's Witness belief. Never mind he worked hard to put food on the table. Never mind he, paid the bills on time so that we could have a roof over our head. Never mind he put clothes on our back. Never mind that he made sure that we got good grades in school by sending us to tutoring and things like that. Because yes, he did do all of that. My father did do all of that, right? Never mind he takes care of his family in all other aspects. But because he wasn't in the truth, that means that I'm a fatherless child. Right? God rest his soul, my father. Try not to get emotional, but seriously, like this is just an outrage here. Like who are you to tell a child or a parent? And this is by design. They want you to feel separate from your family anyway, right? So parents of unbelieving spouses are sitting up here listening to this. That makes them probably feel bad. I know they had the same concept growing up when I was growing up in the Kingdom Hall, and my mother was the only one going to the Kingdom Hall. And, my dad did not want to go to the Kingdom Hall. But, so a lot of people when they first seen us going into the Kingdom Hall, they just assumed that she was a single parent, which is not the case. If I was really a fatherless child, my life would have been totally different, because my father wouldn't really, they like, what is their definitions are insane. A fatherless child is a child whose father was never in their life to begin with. Never. Like, they've never met their father. Their father's never even sent them a cookie crumb. You know, like, that's what a fatherless child is. Or a child whose father died. You know, that's a fatherless child. That's not even a fatherless child, especially if it was a good dad. If they were a good dad to their kids before they passed away or something like that. You know, we're talking about people who have two-parent households. But because the father is not a Jehovah's Witness, then they are a fatherless child. That's so disrespectful to the actual father that's an unbeliever. It's almost as if you're disrespecting that father's headship. Jehovah's Witness organization is disrespecting a father's headship because they're not in the truth, but their wife is. Well, the quote-unquote truth. You see, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to go too much further into it. I just wanted you to hear him say that.
When the unbeliever is opposed. It could even include a situation where only one parent is actively serving Jehovah. I was 5 years old when my mother learned the truth from the Bible. For some years, I lived in a religiously divided home.
Did you have your father in your life, though? Did he pay the bills? Did he put food on your plate? Did he put clothes on your back? See, he let's keep going.
And eventually, my mother became a single parent, and we dealt with those circumstances. There are many of us.
Okay, that's one thing. Eventually became a single parent. That means the father was not in the picture after a while. Okay, great. You know, but you're talking about parents whose fathers are still in the household, still very involved in their lives, right? Just not in the Watchtower, right? I took a little bit of offense to this because, yeah, my father was not a believer, but he was a really good father, you know? So, this is a bunch of bullshit. This is a bunch of bullshit here. And I'm going to stop it right here. If you want to look at it, I will post a link, and I'll tell you, I think it's around the 17-minute mark. Or you don't even have to look at it all. This just says it enough. Jehovah's Witnesses bash parents who are unbelievers, they disrespect the headship because they're sitting up here telling your kids that you're fatherless, right? That's some bogus shit. It really is. But anyway, this is Mackie, P.I.M.O J.W. Jones. I just wanted to just point that out. Question everything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. I love you all, and peace.